go. So we're gonna get right into it, warming up using dumbbells. This is going to be an at-home workout using a combination of dumbbells and resistance bands. So for our warm-up, I'm gonna grab some moderate dumbbells, or moderate light. Now for me, I'm going about 10 pounds lighter than I would do a incline press normally with. So for me, that's gonna be about 30 pounds instead of 40. So for this, I'm gonna sit on an incline bench or trying to lean back at about a 45-degree angle. So I have this set 45 degrees, I kick the dumbbells up, and I'm gonna start with my hands wide at about my shoulder width. So I don't want them narrow in here. I'm gonna bring them out to here to really keep that tension on the chest the whole time. From here, I'm gonna push up towards the ceiling and then back down, doing about 10 reps of these through the full range of motion. That means I'm going all the way up and all the way down, especially going all the way down to where I tap my shoulders with those dumbbells. Now the goal with this is to warm up the muscles. So we're not going for muscle fatigue yet. This should be just getting some blood flow into the joint and into the shoulder to help reduce the risk of injury. So I'm pushing my chest out to really tension that chest muscle. I like the incline press because it targets that upper chest more effectively than a flat bench. Doing about 10 reps of these to warm up. And then relax, standing back up. So I like to do exercises in pairs. So I'm doing a chest exercise. I also like to do a back exercise. And for the back, I like to use resistance bands. That way I don't have to mess with the bench where I'm adjusting it up and down between exercises. In this, the less I have to do that, the more effective I find my exercise is, because I'm not having to spend a lot of time and energy messing with the equipment. So for this, I'm going to attach a band right at about shoulder height. So I'm pulling here or bring my hand out in front, it's flat. So it's not pulling up, it's not pulling down, okay? From here, I'm gonna pull all the way back to my rib cage. So I'm stepping back far enough where the band is under tension. And letting my hand come all the way forward and then all the way back to my ribs. Now this is working that upper back muscle as well as some of the bicep, but primarily it's working that back. So the lats attach all the way up into your arm and go all the way down to the back of your hips. So we're working that entire large sheet of muscle that goes across your back. So this is warming up that shoulder. You should feel that tense up across your rib cage down into your low back. And same thing on the other side. So I'm gonna put my opposite foot out in front and then pull back to my rib cage. So I'm letting my arm come all the way forward and pulling back. Now you can do this with cables as well. The heavier you go though, eventually you'll have to have something to help support your chest. So if you have to go so heavy that you need some support, you could do it like this, supporting yourself against something, pulling back to make sure you don't get pulled forward into the band. So that was our warm-up set. Now I'm gonna change this out for a heavier band and go into a working set. So I always like to start with a slightly lighter and work to heavier as I go. It helps reduce the risk that I'm just gonna push my body instantly into it, something that could injure it. So we gradually ease into the workout. I like this exercise because it works not only the chest, but the front of the shoulders and the triceps as well. So I'm breathing in as I come down and out as I push up. And it's just as simple as that. I'm going until I feel tired in the muscle. And for me, that's somewhere around 10 reps. Now, if you can do a little bit more or a little bit less, that's okay. I find though 10 reps is a pretty good spot to shoot for, where you're not going too heavy, but you're also challenging the muscle. So from here, I'm going back till I feel that band pulling me forward. That pulling forward puts the muscle under tension, and that's where that muscle really grows. So we want to try and not cheat ourselves out of that last half rep. That's what's really going to grow the muscle. I know for me, especially on pull-ups, that last little bit of extra tension on this muscle has made a big difference in how fast I've grown. When I first got this pull-up bar, I couldn't even do one pull-up, and now I can actually do multiple pull-ups. And this is working that same lat muscle, doing these exercises with the bands. Doing that full tension, it's really grown the muscle faster. Like this hand here for support. It's gonna move right between the dumbbells. I'm gonna shift that just a little bit out of my way. Okay. So I'm letting it pull me forward into that movement. Now, depending on how you have your grip on this movement, it'll change which muscles in your shoulder are working. So for this, we want the thumb pointed up. And that gets more of that lat muscle, more your back. If you do thumb pointed in, where it's horizontal like this, that's gonna get more your shoulder. Thumb up is more your back. Get this out of my way. There we go. All right. Now, if you don't have something like this, it's totally fine. You could use a tree or a fence post, wrapping the band around. Just something that's gonna be secure that you're not gonna pull over. What I used to do is close this in a door. So sort of, these have a door anchor where you can wrap the band around the loop. It's got a loop and then a little stopper. You close that stopper in the door, put the band through the loop, and that's what I used to do before I was working out on camera. The only reason I use this instead is because I don't have a door available that's good for the camera angles. Just make sure no one's gonna walk through the door if you're gonna do that though, because you wouldn't want to be halfway through a workout exercise and then suddenly the band comes and hits you. I like to use a door with a lock, so I have the peace of mind to know no one's gonna come through that door. Helps if you have a door that people are not moving through a lot. Now, if you don't have a bench like this for incline, what you can do is stack up pillows on a couch and make an incline for yourself that way. Or if you are using a band, if you don't have an incline press, but you do have a resistance band, just anchor the band a little bit lower, and then you can do the same incline press using the band. All right, so opposite foot in front, letting that shoulder pull all the way forward to really stretch out that back, and then pulling to the back to your rib cage. I'm liking locking out my arm actually on this against the post, because that way it keeps my body from actually cheating this rep by leaning forward. Your brain can play tricks on you where it figures out ways of making the exercise easier. So having things to make it so you can't cheat the reps are really helpful. Even if you're not trying to, your brain can play tricks on you. So going here, facing towards the band, letting it pull you forward, pulling to the back. See how I'm letting it pull me all the way forward where I almost rotate a little bit. and 10. All right. So that covers a lot of the major muscle groups of the upper body. Now we're gonna shift to some lower body exercises. So I like the split squat because it hits the quads, it hits the hamstrings and the glutes all at once. And with that one exercise, I've covered a huge portion of the muscles in my legs and hips. So, I don't know about you guys, but legs are so draining. It's nice to have one exercise and be done with them. So if you also find that legs are really difficult, or if you hate leg day too, not hate, but you know, if you find it challenging, hit a like on the video. That lets me know you like this sort of content and also helps support the channel, so thank you for that. So now we're going to do a split squat. So for this, I'll bring one leg out to the front and then step forward. That gets me the right distance away from the bench. The other foot goes up on top of the bench. So this foot is just for a little bit of balance. We're working this leg right now. So from here, I'm gonna bend my knee, tapping down to the ground and back up. Trying to do 10 reps each side. Trying to keep my weight over my front leg right now. And same thing on the other side. Having a seat, bring one leg out to the front, stepping forward, other leg goes on the bench, doing 10 reps, trying to keep your weight over your front leg. I'm trying to keep my heel on the ground as well. The other thing is my knee bends in the same direction as my foot. I don't want it to go out or in, especially not in. And relax. I like to take a minute between doing legs repeatedly. So I'm just gonna take a moment and let my heart rate come back down. Now a trick for cooling off. If you have a cool water bottle, take your palms, put them to the water bottle to help cool off. Can help because you actually dissipate heat through your hands, through your feet, and through your face. So you could even put it on your cheeks, help cool off if your gym allows it, or if you are at home working out, you can take off your shoes and that will help you dissipate more heat. If you're working out legs, you could do it without your shoes on. As long as you're not worried about dropping something on your foot. When we trained in martial arts, it's actually really nice to train with your bare feet. Because a lot of that heat is actually lost through your feet, so you cool off faster. So you train without shoes. The only thing in the gym is to make sure you're not having shoes is it helps protect your toes, especially if you were to accidentally drop the weight. Not that we would ever want that to happen, but it's just a trick. If you can take your shoes off, you'll cool off faster. So, go in here, one foot up on top, bending the knee, keeping your weight over your front leg. You should feel that right here in the quads. Trying to go for 10 reps. and 10, and switch to the other side. One leg out in front, and the other foot up on top, bending the knee, going down to the ground, and back up, trying to bend your knee the same direction your toes are going. You should feel that all through your entire thigh and hip. I find for me, it's easiest to overheat while working out. One time I was working out with a client in a chlorinated pool, and I didn't realize it, but because I was in the pool, the chlorine actually dehydrated me, and I overheated working with clients in that hour because I had been so dehydrated from the pool and the warm day, and it sneaks up on you. So keeping cool, making sure you're hydrated, making sure your body is not overheating. Very important during a workout. If you look at yourself in your mirror and you look pasty or flush, splash a little cool water in your cheeks, especially if you're getting beet red, if you're turning dark red, you know you gotta cool off quickly. A great way to do that is to take off your shoes. Trust me, you do not want to overheat. Cooling off your feet can help cool your entire body. So hands, feet, and cheeks. Whew. So that was our leg exercises for today. We're gonna finish out with some preacher curls. Now I like the preacher curl because it really targets this muscle underneath your bicep called your brachialis. So you have the biceps brachii on top, and underneath that is that brachialis. So it helps push your bicep up because it's the sort of foundation underneath that muscle. So for this, I'm gonna use a bench, but you could do this with a chair as well. So anything you can rest your elbow on. So for the preacher curl, I'm gonna put my elbow right on top. Now you can do this with the top of a chair. And then from here, you're gonna drop your arm as straight as you can get it. Try to tap that bench and come back up. So leaning back a little bit from the movement will help add to the intensity on this. I'm gonna drop this down just a hair. Now the closer to flat this bench is, the more intense it's going to be. So I'm gonna drop it down just a little bit so I can get straight down, putting tension on the bicep and the brachialis, but especially that brachialis really has to work on this movement. Just doing a quick warm-up set for this muscle before I go to a heavier weight. And that's a warm-up set is a great way of finding the right weight for you for an exercise. So you can always start lighter, try out the movement, see if it's challenging at 10. If it's not challenging enough, add a little bit of weight to it. Now I'm gonna add 5 pounds to this. And try again. So I'm trying to build up my arms right now over the last 2 months or a month or two. So that's why I save this to the end, but do as many of these as I can. Try and build up those arms, build up that bicep muscle. If you want to build up your bicep, if that's a goal you have, hit that like button. It lets me know you want more of this sort of content and helps support the channel. And if you could, comment down below, I'm doing biceps, or a flexing emoji. Sorry, the arm flexing if you're working on biceps too. We can work on it together, encourage one another to get there. I know we have a couple people that are really trying to emphasize their brachialis muscle right now, using dumbbells or barbells. If you have any questions, if you use some different pieces of equipment and need help figuring out how to make it work, let me know, and I would love to help you brainstorm ideas for what you can make work for your setup. Just alternating back and forth between my two arms. Has low rest time, but it lets me get a lot of reps in to really build up this muscle faster. I'm trying to keep my chest up and back, keep tension on that bicep the whole time. Trying to do about 10 each time. The exact number doesn't matter, but I'm trying to keep it even between the two sides. Now I'm doing this one a lot more than my other exercises because I want to build this up faster. The other exercises I'm doing are to maintain the strength and muscle that I have. If you're over 35, your body starts losing muscle if you don't do anything to preserve it. So you, on average, lose about 1% of your muscle every year. And so to maintain that, doing exercise helps maintain that muscle mass and keeps that on your body. So a lot of people do retirement savings and investments, and say if you're over 50, you're probably very familiar with that. But what I encourage you to think about it as is investing in your body, in the savings of muscle and being able to move effectively like you were 20, even when you're 60, 70 years old. I think we all want that. We want to work like we were when we were 20. And the only way to do that is by continuing to exercise and maintain that muscle health. So we start aging when we stop moving and stop using that muscle. Think about it, when you were 20, did you move more than you do now? And if you did, I'd encourage you to try and get back to that. Find time. I know life is busy, but finding that time to stay healthy is as important as saving up for retirement. That's why I'm doing this here, to challenge the muscles in my body so I grow even, not just maintain, but maybe even grow and increase the muscle mass I have to build up that muscle now while it's easier. And that way once you have it, it's so much easier to maintain that muscle mass. Just getting it is the hard part. That's why we work so hard. The younger you start, the easier it will be. So if you're 15 or you're 58, it doesn't matter. You should be working out, maintaining and building that muscle. I was looking at the numbers. If I stopped using my muscles, if I stopped working out right now, in about 20 years, I would not be able to lift body weight. If I just stopped cold turkey, did nothing else, that would be really bad. I'd be about 60. I wouldn't be able to move effectively. So I don't want that to be me. I don't want that to be you. So that's why I think it's so important to work out. If I can help out in any way, that's why I'm doing this, is I want people to be healthy and be able to move effectively through their entire life. I had a client who was 84 when he started. He was in a wheelchair and was worried about ever walking again. And we worked hard and he kept on going for a period of time. We worked for a couple years and he got to the point where he was able to walk a mile unassisted. And it was difficult, but even if you're 80, you can still get stronger. But if you can start when you're younger, the younger you start, the easier it will be to maintain that muscle health so you can move effectively, you can do the things, you can live the way you want to. And I encourage you to start today, because the best time is always today. So if you want to work out with me, or if I can help in any way, let me know. If we can get encouraged, just here for encouragement, you can do it. It's possible. It's not about where you start, it's about where you're going. So little by little, you can do it. Now, it's not a change overnight. Can't promise, I'm not promising that, but it is a continual small step change. And you'll see it if you stick with it. So if you like these sort of workouts and want to see more, you want to be part of a community to help encourage one another, I host these live streams on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Hope to see you there.